The August 2016 meeting of the Lake Forest Parks and Recreation Commission to order, and let the record indicate that all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Barras, who's on an excused absence, surveying the high seas for programming. And let's see, I already forgot who was going there. President Victor, if you wouldn't mind leading our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, public comments. Carol, we have two people in the audience, so...
I have one request to speak, Amanda Morrell.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I didn't figure you would have a huge audience tonight, so I thought I would just come and make an announcement. I'm not sure you're aware, but Saddleback Valley Unified School District has 3 seats open in the upcoming election, and I wanted to make you aware that I will be a candidate. And I want you to know that kind of what my priorities are. And I'm an advocate for the kids and putting the kids first. So I have a kids first vision. Our future depends on how well we prepare our children for tomorrow's challenges. They deserve the absolute best from our public education system. As an advocate for students, a governing school board member, I understand that students have individual needs and want individual choices. With your vote, I will continue to advocate for all students, including those who are not considered at risk, but have tremendous untapped potential. I will insist on a learning environment that's conducive to choice and open communication for all students. I'll support measures that minimize unnecessary bureaucratic procedures and deficit spending. I believe in channeling existing resources towards supporting the students in the classrooms. So we must continue to fight for smaller class sizes, modern technology, and foster more affordable extracurricular activities. We must ensure the success of our students by valuing our teachers and our staff. I have a lot of sort of community experience, as you know. I sat with you and enjoyed working with all of you, or some of you very much. So with that, I mean, I think you're a Parks and Recreation Commission. Our students enjoy using your facilities, and I'm for the students, and I wanted you to come. I wanted just to come and kind of tell you what I'm about and leave some materials. So if you want to do some due diligence, you can look me up at amandamorrell.com and kind of check it out. So, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, and best of luck. Okay, moving on to the item on our consent calendar, minutes of our previous meeting on July 21st. Any comments or corrections or statements? I would like to make one minor one on the commissioner comments attributed to myself on the first. I gotta find it again. I got it. It's got to ask my hands to flip the page, and they're saying no. So, do it correct. There we go. The first sentence where it says, also this point of the lack of progress in Village Pond Park, which is true, but there's a second part really to what I expressed at the meeting, and it's kind of like there's a but that should be in there. But again, we all are somewhat subservient to the quote legal process that's in place. And there's certain things we can do and certain things we can't do. It's not that I'm up in arms or whatever, but that was the only thing that I noticed. So,
Okay, I'll add that.
thank you, Carol. If there's anything else or not anything else, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass the meetings with the
As
corrections.
amended.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, please cast your votes. Hit the button.
Okay. It's unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along to the second item, discussion action items, the July 2016 Recreation Report.
Good evening, Commissioners. July was a fabulous month for recreation programs. Of course, we started the month with the red, white, blue, and 25-2 4th of July parade. So being that it was my first parade, I thought everything went off quite well. The parade committee was amazing to work with. I put a few of the highlighted pictures, as you can see some of our commissioners right there on that float. But we did have a really good time. We had over 91 entrants. We had about 10,000 people lining the parade route. It was a great time had by all. The next highlight we wanted to inform you on was, again, the Sports Park and Recreation Center received another award. It's always nice to see a Yelp award because that's what a lot of people go to often, just to get, the latest and greatest of what's going on in their communities or great reviews on things. So for us to receive a Yelp award, that was quite amazing. Movies in the park, we had a few movies this month. We had a couple of different locations between Pittsford Park, Sports Park, El Toro Park. So we had good attendance at all those, about 450 average at each one of those parks. So that was quite nice to see that as well under the stars. We had the family campout for the first time at the Sports Park at the Commons area. We maxed out at 130 people, so that was great. We were expecting about 115, and we let a few more people in than when we expected, but it ended up working nicely. We actually did s'mores for the first time. We test ran that one, but the people seemed to really enjoy it because it felt like a real camp out right on the Commons area, so that was good. And we feel like next year we could probably maybe double that just because of the space. Everybody was pretty spread out, so there's plenty of space there for us to add double the amount if we wanted to do so. Summer concert, again, we had another great concert over at Pittsford Park, and of course looking forward to the one in our last one on Sunday. The seniors, I know Vicky's not here today, but we really wanted to talk to you and let you guys know if you weren't able to attend or hear anything about the La Brea Tar Pits. They had a really good trip there. We had about 38 seniors that went on that trip. 33 of them were Lake Forest residents. They had a great time. They actually got to go a little bit behind the scenes and go see a 3D movie. They got to see some fabulous things there at the tar pit, and then they actually had an opportunity to go shopping and go to the farmers market. So a lot of those seniors that have never done those activities, they actually had a really good time. Just wanted to highlight a couple of the things that are coming up since we're closing out our summer. Like I said, I had mentioned we have the last and final concert on Sunday, and that'll be on the 21st. We also have the Special Needs Dance. If you guys are able to attend, it's next Friday here at City Hall. Marilyn will be hosting that. We have a couple things at the skate park. I know you guys may not be able to get out to that, but if you can, September 10th, that would be a great one to come out to. We have our Senior Resource Fair. And then the last activity for our 25th year anniversary, we'll have the carnival on September 17th. I know it's not mentioned here, but I just wanted to add that in. I'm sure you guys are all aware, but kind of wanted to keep talking about it because we're really excited that it's coming up. And that's my report. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Commissioners, questions or comments?
I'll go. Okay. In regards to the family camp out, I think the reason we originally capped it at that amount was we used to have it at Pittsford.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course, that's a smaller area.
Sure.
So, I always come to that, but I was away that weekend. But I'm glad to know that it went well. And I did see Minions, the movie. I love
cute.
I love
know.
that cute movie,
It is.
and I thought it was great. Everybody seemed to have a good time. He laughs at me, but anyway, that's all right. No, so looking forward to. I even had a front row seat for Minions.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
what could be
good.
more special than that?
Good.
So there you go.
Very good.
But anyway, so thank you. I know you guys worked really hard this summer. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
No. We're still on the recreation report. Okay, no, I haven't. Okay. Is that Match.com there? Never mind. Okay, thank you. I've got a couple comments, questions. Very intrigued by the Yelp award, of seeing that. And, I mean, I have used that, both pro and con, for, like retail outlets. Is this something that is unique, or is there I mean, they list all these categories you can Yelp on, but public facilities and that, is that?
It's the first time I've ever seen it. Nick's the one that actually found it. He's really good about finding all the technological craziness. But it was really nice that he found it, because that's not something that I've ever even known about. Scott and I were just talking about Yelp and how useful of a tool that is.
Oh, yeah.
So when people do, have an award next to their business or whatever the case may be, or a 5-star, I mean, I know, I'm sure all of us that use it kind of go to that venue or that opportunity of business. So
Right.
it's nice that we were able to receive that and have that recognition, unlike, the Orange County Register that just puts in their favorite top 5 things.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's why I'm trying to think of, how do we really take advantage of this and publicize it? And I would say one of the ways is through the tremendous social media outreach we
Right.
have. Is like almost a, did you know that
exactly.
our sports park,
Right.
is Yelped or whatever
Right.
with the rating it has, and has, I think, again, receiving the recognition for it, because a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, the retail establishments, they may have 5 stars and a lot of ratings that are very high, but I've never seen anybody being mentioned as recognized
Right.
by Yelp as an organization or a
Right,
business or
exactly.
whatever. And where, if, I guess I'm going to go look at it in more detail myself, because I think this is something that, I guess, that I've never heard of and never expected, but I think this is great.
Yeah, it is.
And it's obviously not something that we've initiated or, tried
No.
to foster with the facility that we have. So, hopefully putting this in the hands of somebody like Kalina and
Right.
her
Exactly.
magic
Right,
social
with
media.
her newsletters and things like that.
And I know Nick's trying to expand at the sports park, the social media following like he did at the skate park. I think this is, again, just great, very positive
Sure.
publicity for the city. So, congratulations to Nick for finding it.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And doing that. And, again, maybe we'll recognize him. I wanted just to make some lighthearted comments, if I could. Excuse me, to the author of the red, white, and 25-2 synopsis here, because initially I wanted to, when I read this when the packet came, and Carol, thank you, it came in a timely manner with what we did, so I think I may know where the problem lay before getting it a week after the meeting and 2 weeks after you sent it out. But I wanted to almost take this and say, I'll just take this page, highlight part of it, and send it down to the 4th Law Enforcement Battalion and say here. But then, reading it, I kind of got the impression that if they looked at it and the mentions of it, they would say, this is not us.
Okay.
It's somebody, it's got to be someone else, just kind of to wit that an honor guard typically is found at funerals and guards the tomb of the unknown soldier. And what they sent was called a color guard. I'm just, I said they'd be lighthearted. Soldiers, Victor was a soldier, right? You were in the Army.
Yes.
I was a soldier. I was in the Army. Swabby or Squid. I don't think they recognize the Air Force as being a military service. They're Marines. Okay, they're not soldiers. If you call them a soldier, that's like a face slap to them. I'm a Marine. You understand that? Okay. And you and I have trained canines, okay? Level of training may different.
Right.
They're called military working dogs, MWDs, and there are Marines also, in case people did not know that. And Humvees are vehicles driven by people in Coto de Caza who want to be considered outdoorsmen. They drive military tactical vehicles that are made by the same company that manufactures a Humvee. But no, thanks again. Like I said, it was lighthearted and facetious for the mention of it. Again, to recap what I did last month, they thoroughly appreciated being part of the parade. And the interesting part of the parade being one of the catalyst activities for them to participate in, but it gives them the opportunity to interact with the public, which they like. And interestingly enough, most of them are very good at it. And it also has created other opportunities that we did some other things which I'll cover just in Commissioner comments that have attracted a lot more input from the community. But the main thing that does it is their part in the 4th of July parade. And they recognize that as well. So, again, thanks for highlighting and featuring it. And, again, you know, I look at these, and I've, over the years, made the comments that our recreation report used to be front and back, a couple pages, and it's not only the size of, but it's the variety of activities that we do. And I think the other point worth noting is we're constantly looking to either change and or better, evaluating what's being done. You know, every now and then something that sounded like a good idea really didn't pan out. We didn't get the public support or whatever. But I think, and you know, looking at a lot of the other, on occasion and online programs that other cities run, I sense a much more traditional sense with them, that they do certain things, and we do this in March, we do this in April, over and over again. But I think the variety here is just wonderful. And again, thank you for what you all do. Okay, moving right on to our director's report. We set a record here tonight. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission.
Right.
I have brief updates on 4 items. I'll start with Pittsford Park. You might remember that last month there was an unflattering reference to Pittsford Park in a local newspaper. And our maintenance staff did go out, evaluate the condition of the equipment in the playground, and they did determine that some repairs are needed out there. So the question was, how soon can we get this done? They're actually getting quotations to complete this work right now. So the work might include, it's going to include some painting and repairs. It might also include replacing some pieces of equipment, depending on how the quotes come in, if it's within our budget. So we're moving on that. The second item, just a couple of things that have come before the Commission. I wanted to keep you in the loop. The Neighborhood Improvement Plan. You might remember, just to give everyone the background, in 2007, the Commission approved a plan, and it led to about $8 million in capital improvement funding for about 14 parks. And the last park, I think, to be renovated is going to be Village Pond Park. And so we put out a request for proposals for Part 2 of this study, Neighborhood Park Improvement Plan. We just got the proposals back. We've evaluated them. We'll be interviewing 3 firms on Monday. I'm hoping to award a contract to one of the firms either the second meeting in September or the first meeting in October. So that's exciting that will be moving forward. And again, that plan consists of the evaluation of 10 parks that were not renovated in the last round of renovations. It's really a comprehensive analysis, the condition of the parks, the facilities, all of the amenities in the parks, and of course there's going to be a fairly extensive community outreach, community consultation component to make sure that anything that we do build out there or that we do renovate is really going to be driven by the residents and what they ask for, to the extent that we can make that happen. The third item pertains to Whispering Hills. You've probably noticed some work out there. It's looking a little bit better. It's been a while, so the gears of government can grind slowly. But I believe it was last May, the City Council approved some improvements at Whispering Hills. Subsequent to that approval, they approved the budget. That really enabled us to complete what they approved. So what you'll see now is the fence going up. You'll see some nice plants, some trees. If they haven't installed an irrigation system, they will be installing one. I believe that IRWD has provided the hookup to the water system with recycled water free of charge, which is obviously beneficial. So you should see that being spruced up shortly. And of course, Whispering Hills, that's also going to be included in the neighborhood park improvement study. So as they evaluate the 10 parks and consult with the community, they're also going to take a look at Whispering Hills. There will be some community consultation, but it's really mostly looking at a range of uses for Whispering Hills and identifying the opportunities and the challenges associated with each of those uses. And we'll see where that ends out. And eventually, of course, any report generated from the consultant as part of this plan will come before the commission before it goes to the city council. I can't give you a timeline yet as to when that might happen because it depends on which firm we select. Their estimates range anywhere from 3 months to, I think, 9 months. So that's part of the interview process. We have the conversation with them about what their vision is and how they're going to complete that. The last item pertains to park tours. We started down this road sometime last year. We talked about doing park tours, and I think we stopped because there was some disagreement as to which parks and how that was going to work. This came up again, I think, during our ethics training. There's a way to do it. It's a little different from what we have been doing. I just want to outline that briefly, and if you'd like, we can start that in September. But the way we need to do that, we have to agendize these. If the meeting's going to begin with a park tour, we have to agendize that as a special meeting. So that really is on our end. It's a little different than noticing a normal meeting. We have to be at the park that we say we're going to be at the time that we say we're going to be there in case the public would like to join us and be part of the conversation. It's strongly encouraged that we take separate vehicles to ensure that we don't have at any one time a quorum or 3 commissioners in a single vehicle at one time. It just doesn't look good. So that's what we're looking at. So what I would recommend, with all that being said, we're happy to make that happen. We can start in September if the commission would like. And I would recommend starting with the sports park, but if you'd like, you can give us suggestions for parks to start with. This is not an agendized item, so we really shouldn't have a lengthy discussion about this, but if people have ideas about which park you'd like to see first, we can do that.
Let me ask maybe the question, since it's, again, as you said, not agendized, if we give you, or can we give you at this point consensus to go ahead in doing this?
I don't think that you need to. I mean, you can,
Okay.
but I don't think you need to, because I know that you're interested from our previous discussion.
Okay,
We've agendized
fine.
this in the past.
Then I would like to just throw one suggestion on the table, that we have identified 10 sites that our future is going to be tied to some extent, a great extent, that maybe we look to you, staff, to just make decisions starting with those 10.
Got it.
And pick any one out, do it alphabetically, do it, by side, whatever, and to say, we'll do it, here's the date, here's the time. The only thing when we start getting to September, are we going to try to couple it with the normal meeting?
It's really up to the commission. That's what I understood you wanted to do. So what I would recommend is meeting here at either 5 o'clock or 5:30, and then meeting at the park, or we can just start
At the
the
park.
meeting at the park if people want to meet at the park.
Because starting, by October, you're going to be dark at 4:30.
That's correct. So which means it's up to the commission. You can do these in the dark, or you can wait to resume these until the spring. It would really be up to you. So we would really only get one visit in during the daylight in September.
Well, let me be bold and ask the other question, because otherwise it's like, you got one prospective contractor say I can do this in 3 months, and one who says 9, and it's obviously a happy medium, maybe somewhere in between. Would there be an objection to doing it? And I guess it's more really, can we do it during, let's say, a specific day at a specific time, separate from the meeting?
You can. It would need to be during the week, during regular business hours, and
Because it's light then.
Yeah, but-
Doing it in the dark, to me, makes, I mean, unless we all bring huge magnum flashlights or whatever.
Well, staff is available. It really is, it's up to a vote of the commission. I mean, at this point, then I would ask that there be a consensus from the commission as to which day and which time you're looking at. Now, we would still have to notice that as a special meeting.
Sure, no, I understand that. I understand that doesn't change the procedure, but,
Right.
And I would welcome it if somebody, wants to, from the neighborhood, at least you get a little bit of a feeling of what some of the input is, and it's Loretta and I remember, there was one in Clan 1 when we did it, and Amanda, I can't remember if it was before you were on the commission or when we went down to, what's the little one, Kavanaugh. Was it Kavanaugh? At the end, and we were met by the local residents, and basically, who kind of, there's no door there, but they showed us one, and told us we don't want any renovations. So we made a decision to take that money and use it elsewhere. We didn't have to spend a lot of time on it. But, yeah, I would like to maybe have a very brief, whatever's right, a conversation on would there be a good day during the week, or at least the majority of the commission could make some time.
Staff is generally available. We can probably we should be able to make ourselves available any time that you choose. I'm assuming you're looking at the late afternoon. Are you looking at the middle of the day? I only ask because I know that other commissioners work, and I don't know what people's schedules are. So it's really
Right.
probably the discretion of the council, of the commission.
No, that's what I'm saying. If everybody could volunteer,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't have commitments in that, but I'm blessed with the fact that my schedule is mine. So I know, Jeff, you sometimes work from the house, so maybe that's
I
doable.
think it's doable. I think, one of the things we looked at, and I know this isn't an agendized item, so we can't talk about it too much, but we had a point where we talked about going independently and kind of doing, remember we had the sheet where we did the review? I like actually going to the parks, especially on like a Saturday when they're busy, and I can kind of talk. I don't know if that makes sense, but going during the day when school's in, you don't get to see a lot of, what's being used, what's happening at the park, right? And so, but I understand Jim's point. So I don't know if there's a better way. I know some of our parks are lit, and some of them in the evening would be good to go to, like, say, Heroes and the sports park to see because I don't want to just look at equipment. That's not, I think that's part of what we would do. I want to see what people are doing at the parks, right? And I think that will give us more of a focus on what are we looking at? And when we start doing these park renovations, what are people interested in, right? And so I don't know I don't have an easy answer for you guys as far as, I don't want to have staff come in on Saturdays. I'm sure they don't want to come in on Saturdays, and Scott won't approve them to come in on Saturdays. So, but maybe during the winter months, because that's also when, especially in fall, we have soccer and even fall baseball's going on. So going to the sports park, going to Heroes, and even Tamarisk has a bit of activity, right? And so, Tamarisk isn't a lit field, though, right? We didn't put lights in it.
No.
But maybe because I like your idea, but I also want to go and people are there and using it.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think?
I can also agendize this for the September meeting if you really want to have a discussion. I think that would give you the freedom to have a more thorough discussion.
I think that would be a good idea.
Let's do that, and it gives us some thought process on it.
Yeah,
too.
I think so too.
I was ready to go.
I know.
You can
That's my vote.
You're always welcome to go to the parks in Lake Forest. So,
Tell me which park, I'll be there.
That concludes my report.
Okay. All right, I think we're rounding third and heading for home, and we'll start our comments with Commissioner Sheriff. Victor.
Thank you. I'm assuming that everyone's been at certain times watching the Olympics. From time to time, I think we should recognize achievement in the city of Lake Forest for residents that have performed and exceeded in the sports area, since we are very much a sports-oriented city. So you may or may not be aware that we have a resident participating in the Olympics who has graduated El Toro High School, who lives in Lake Forest, and some of you may or may not be aware of this individual whose name is Logan Dooley. And the point that I'm making is, I think from time to time, I think it's important we recognize our residents for achievements above and beyond, which does fit this particular situation. He is ranked 11th in the world as a gymnast. His specialty is trampoline and tumbling. He's been an alternate in previous Olympics in London and others. And I'd like to suggest to the department and to the city that we take a look at recognizing achievement, particularly for this person who has achieved above and beyond in performance at the Olympics. And I'd like to recommend strongly to the city and actually to the city council that we take some appropriate action for recognition.
Victor, if I can just add to that, that is not something new. Again, the graybeards here, we have done that in the past with Olympic level, it'll come out, athletes and others as well, or even local youth teams that have done fairly well in their organizations, like won something like a state championship, or and I want to say I think we should continue doing that, and I think that's something the department can do. Council it's nice, it's whatever. That's really the local call, but I think their focus is on things maybe a little bit different and broader, and this is more in the recreation thing. And it's something we could publicize too. That eventually has that trickle down effect of getting people more interested in the recreational aspects of our city and what we do, because this is a starting point. I mean, I'm sure I don't know this one individually, but a lot of them, once they get out of high school, they're grabbed by the the national type coaches who take them over, but this is where they came from, and this is where they may come back to. So, yeah, I'd like to say we continue to do that. Great idea.
Yeah. Thank you. That concludes my comments.
Scott actually answered most of my questions and comments, which was great. The only question I had, I was curious. I saw that they were working on Whispering Hills. What is the timeline? You may have said it, and I may not have missed it. I know we're just doing kind of a facial on it right now, right? Until we kind of move forward with it. What's the timeline on that, getting that completed?
The real answer is I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that at the council meeting on Tuesday evening, council appropriated additional funding to complete the job.
Okay.
So I would have to guess that it would be complete in about a month.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like they're making great progress. I drove by the other day and I saw it, so it was great. I want to make sure, as we start kicking off the sports season again, I think Carol's been very good about this, or following up, that we're still publicizing field use for the fields on the website. Are we still able to do that?
Do you mean posting the allocation? Yes. Actually, it was just posted today.
Okay, I didn't look today, so good. Yeah, that's because I get hit with that question a lot.
We're full.
I know, it's...
Yeah.
And then I think you covered everything else, and I look forward to the discussion on the park tours. But no, and just to cap off the summer, I mean, good gracious, I know I say this a lot, but the staff did a tremendous job this summer when all the events, and when you look at the numbers that came in, the people that attended, it's just fantastic. As I was saying to Scott before the meeting, he took over for Gary. Those were some big shoes to fill, and I think he's done a tremendous job. And so I really appreciate the hard work you put in. And Laura, you've just started running. I don't know how you did it with that parade and everything else. I mean, it was so, but not just you guys. I mean, not that you guys aren't important, but the whole staff. I mean, I was at the sports park the other day. I had a little emergency with the El Toro cheerleaders, didn't have a place to practice, so we went over to the sports park, and Bill was like, oh, they're on our list, we can let them use the dance room. And so that it was very cool that he was able to help them out. So just thank you guys again for all your help. Great job.
First of all, Amanda, thank you for coming. It's always nice to have you again here. I'm just going to go down my list. Okay, I attended the skate park movie they had. I think it was Goonies, and I wanted to acknowledge the skateboard staff. They did an excellent job getting ready. I mean, they had props. They had they pulled things in from the haunt, like the skeletons, and they really did a good job. I know it wasn't a big attendance, but.
I apologize. You just reminded me of an announcement I wanted to make in my director's
go
report. It
ahead.
pertained to the skate park.
Yeah.
Scott Stewart, who was our part-time coordinator,
Yeah.
He got the position. He got Nick's old position.
Oh,
He's now the
good.
full-time senior recreation supervisor of that facility. So he's the one that would
I know,
really
I talked to him.
put that together. Yeah, so I meant to inform
Well, that's
the commission.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad it sparked your memory
Good for us,
there.
good for Scott.
Oh, yeah, he was there. He was doing a great job. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to tell. That poor, what is it? Our movie screen. I felt so sorry for him because, every 5-10 minutes, he's got to, plug the dike there because it kept going.
We have a new one on order.
Oh,
Literally on order, waiting for it to arrive.
I'm so glad because that other one is very tired. I felt so bad because he was trying to talk to people and he had to go fix the screen. He had to pump it back up. So I'm glad. So that's good. We're getting that new screen. We really need it. 80s concert. I had a great time. But I'm wondering maybe we should reconsider in the future. Why do we have 2 or 3 bands for each concert? I mean, it's fine, but yeah, go ahead. Trey.
Well, technically, this year was not planned by the
I
present
know.
staff.
I understand that.
So
I understand.
attend this concert because we're doing a Survey Monkey on future concerts.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
There may be a possible change of how we do things.
Uh-huh.
We're just looking to see about revamping the concert series. So we're going to do a Survey Monkey. We're going to try to get some new, fresh ideas. We're definitely going to change the music because we seem to see the same genre of music
Right.
over and over again. So that's a for sure change. How we do the concerts may be a second change depending on the feedback that we get.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I feel like I'm the concert queen for South Orange County.
Right.
Because I went online and I made a list of by day who's doing what concert in what city, and I tried to go to a lot of them, and they only usually have one band.
Right.
And it's fine. They do a great job.
Right.
I think this is, you could change it up. Maybe one time we have 2 bands, another time we have 1 band. But I was talking to one of the directors, and he said, there's a day where you can go and kind of,
They all do a preview.
There you go. And so the band that I thought was a lot of fun was the Surf Tones because everybody was dancing because everybody knew the songs.
Right.
I know it's a 60s thing, but they're just fun. And then I saw another group at the Hangar, and I'll have to go look which one that was. And they also perform at parks, but they were doing a great job at the Hangar at the fair. So anyway, so I'm glad we're kind of thinking along the same lines.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I attended the Pageant of the Masters. Do we ever have a trip for the seniors for that?
Yes.
Do they? Okay. Oh, all right. I couldn't remember that. Then I was along the same lines. Do we have a trip for the seniors to the Sawdust Festival or the Orange County Fair? Okay. Good. It's too hot. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I was at the fair, I was checking everything out, trying to come up with ideas. I went to Relay for Life, the one we had at Sports Park. I thought it went really well. Hot. I don't know. They always pick the hottest days. Just this. Anyway, so I thought that event. Everybody seemed really pleased with our facility and everything. So I just wanted to. I also attended. And as part of my seeing all the bands around, the Pacific Symphony performed at Mission Viejo in Irvine. And, they do such a phenomenal job. Now, Mission Viejo goes all out. They've got the big screen TV, so you get the close-up. They've got all the plants. I mean, they do above and beyond. They have a huge budget. Right. But, and I'm sure Irvine has a little smaller budget. It wasn't quite as elaborate. But still, it was wonderful. Maybe we could save up for it and have it for our 30th anniversary. You know, because that is something everybody loves, and they always do such a good job. Just something for the 30th. Start thinking about that one, okay? I also attended National Night Out, and I thought that went really well, and I'm just sorry there weren't more people there. You know, with the helicopter landing, that was awesome. Told you about the Tustin Surf Tones. Oh, I also went to Beaumont Cherry Valley. I went to their Park and Rec. They had a Journey concert and a barbecue cook-off. And I thought, well, that was fun. Another thing to think about, you know. I also had the privilege of going Beauty and the Beast. The Tustin community does that. That is a phenomenal, whatever. It's just, they do an awesome job. And I'm thinking maybe in the future, I'm hoping we can have some really great musicals or concerts. Well, mainly more musicals and shows. Because I also went and I saw The Curse of Capistrano. That was down in San Juan Capistrano, and it was done by our own El Toro High School drama director. He did that. He wrote part of it or revised it for San Juan and then directed it. But it's so much fun in the summertime to go see a musical or some kind of a theatrical production. I know we also talked about Shakespeare in the Park. I know. That didn't work out. But we're going to keep trying, you know. Anyway, so that's it. And thank you, because I know you guys have been really busy. So thanks. Those are my what I've been up to and checking everything out. So there you go.
Okay, thanks, Roy. A couple questions on a couple things you mentioned. Where they do the single artist type concert, how long does that event last?
It's about an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's kind of like what we have.
Well, ours last, I think, a little longer than an hour and a half.
2.5 hours?
They last 2.5
wait a minute.
hours, and
No, maybe it's about 2 hours. I'll check it out.
okay, because I think that's something before just kind of throwing that on the table, that that's a consideration, because I don't know, again, from, let's call it semi-limited experience of many of these acts that will play for that long. Their, can't remember the word now, but their repertoire of music isn't that vast that they can, you know, like if you got the Rolling Stones up, they could play 4 days in a row because they've made 622 albums and that. So most of these single ones, and I do know that from talking to somebody in another city, that they go to a lot of local concerts. They're typically an hour to an hour and a half, which is, you know, when you're spending that kind of money to put them on, I think consideration needs to be given to get the most bang for the buck. I don't have any problem with various music genres or things like that. And that's also why a lot of these other cities, they do shorter concerts and they do more concerts because they spend less money per concert. So there's a whole series of considerations, and the other consideration that needs to be thought of is the public's time. I mean, if you go, Rancho is one of them that does about, I want to say 6 summer concerts, okay? They're held at Central Park, which is about the size of the basketball gym as far as number of people that it can accommodate. So you're not going to draw a lot of people, and you're probably at the end of the day spending as much, if not more, than you spend at what we're doing. Let's say 3 events, wherein you draw some really significant crowds. So again, I think before necessarily adopting anybody else's venue approach and scheduling, I think there's some good ideas that can be gained from it, but I think also there are some things that, you know, that we can gain. Pacific Symphony, yeah, I think it'd be great for the 30th. That kind of sparked 2 thoughts in my mind. One, we've had them. We've had them for a number of years here. They were, you know, probably no secret, the most expensive concert that was out there. And it was a good event. But you talk about changing music genre,
I know.
you've seen it once, you've seen it for the next 10 years, because it was basically almost, with the exception of a few of the youth soloists that they had, the same routine. And
You don't have them every year. That's why you don't have them every year. The symphony.
the reason we dropped the symphony was not that we didn't want them, it was cost.
Funding. I know.
Funding.
Target stopped funding them.
And, but we had them for 3 years in a row, year after year after year, and that was, as long as Target funded it, we were willing to do it, and that's what Mission Viejo's been doing. And so that's one thought as to, do we necessarily want to have them as part of the regular or maybe a special event thing, that there is a special budget then designated for it. The other thing, and Scott, your comment kind of fueled that right on, where you said they have a larger budget in Mission Viejo. Okay, it's a larger city, it's a, whatever, but I know you can quote from being in a smaller city with a humongous budget per capita type of thing. And I've said this before, and I will say it again, maybe we need to start our own, how do I want to say it, flaunt what we're doing campaign, that we're sitting as a city, all right, my mouth will open, a fiscally conservative city, on a lot of money, which is a good thing. The city is very well run, and we don't go throw things around, but I think that what the Community Services Department does in this city and every other city has a direct effect on the quality of life of the residents of that city. It is obviously regulated and governed by the amount of money that, in the end of the day, after a lot of internal negotiation, 5 other individuals bless and say, okay, we like that. Maybe, and I think maybe we all need to put our heads together, there needs to be, quote, a campaign that the allocation internally to community services can increase, and not just because we're opening another facility, so we need one more person, but our general operating budget to put on events, to do things that would be appealing to the residents, and to start tooting the horn. I think it just keeps getting better and better, compared especially to where we started from eons ago, and I think we shouldn't be bashful to. Worst thing somebody can say is no when you ask. So how to do that obviously is going to take some time and effort, but I don't think we should be bashful, if I can be so bold in saying, to ask for internally that, look, there's revenue recovery, there is return, well within expected reasoning. It can't be expected to recoup 100% of what's spent, but we're going really close to what's considered excellent in everything that I read and hear as far as our revenue recovery goes. So that's a thought, a suggestion. Concert, just switching gears here, the last one, I think the heat kind of wilted most of the people who were planning to come. I've never seen Pittsford occupied totally on one side, the hillside, and nobody down, like in the bowl area. And but again, good shows. I'm in agreement. We need to bring in some new kind of music, but I kind of like the format. And I think the thing maybe to think about with the concert, and for some reason the one at Pittsford the last time kind of brought it out, is to get more stuff going on, to make it more of an event along with the concert. There was a very limited amount of vendors there, of food vendors, much less than any other concert I remember ever being to. And, even have, in the carnival, Laura's kind of bringing that to light, some of the game booths and just piddly stuff that attracts families. That then you can bring the kids, they don't have to, they come early to get a good parking place and get a good seat. Well, what are we going to do with the kids and all that? But to take some of those ideas and make it a little bit more, the concert's a little bit more of an event. Kind of like, Snowfest has become a huge event rather than just only sliding down the hill. So, again, something to put, into the thinking cap. Field allocations, yeah, I did see that those went up. When are we turning them over? I kind of glossed over the date to the youth groups. That should be happening.
It is tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Tomorrow through November is the allocation.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks before Labor Day, typically, that they go. I live right in the neighborhood of Regency Park, and I go down Regency, probably up or down Regency at least twice a day, one ways in and out of there. I know that the field is still closed off, and I know they've been doing their normal rest and maintain, but that field looks like it is in dire need of being put to rest and maintain. That field is used typically in soccer by the oldest, the under 19, the high school level kids, and the under 16. So the 15 to 19-year-olds play on that field, and they are the ones that beat up the field the most because they're the biggest guys and gals and things like that. But there's, even with all they're doing, there's huge patches of like brown, and that field typically has been turned over in pristine shape after they get done. I don't know, I'm not a turf expert by any means or that, but it's like that. The other thing I noticed today, it just happened because I went by coming here earlier in the day, right at 11, about 15 or so, you're getting the hottest time of the day and they're watering at that time. The sprinklers run. And number one, it burns grass. It'll do that. And number two, most of it just evaporates. You don't get, the sinking in and things like that. So that was just a point. But like I say, I've never seen that field this close to being used already, that kind of brown. And I know there have been some rabbit problems and that in a lot of those areas around there, but this is more than just. So again, it was just a comment, maybe to ask Public Works to look at it or come back with some things. Kind of a last comment. I think, to echo what my fellow commissioners have said, our staff really, really does an excellent job with what they do, and I kind of like our on-the-job training concept of, here, welcome aboard, here's the biggest event of the year, have at it, kind of trial by fire. Yeah, today you didn't know how to shoot this thing, tomorrow you're going over to Iraq and you're being asked to bring back some heads or something. But I think what would help all of us too, and every now and then, but it's not on a regular basis, we have or had Nick at the skate park come in. We had once in Blue Moon and Ron was here, come in. There are certain things that are pretty regular, like we now have the ACT group coming in, which I think is great. I would like to suggest that we have our senior advisory board meetings every couple of months. I know I make a lot of them, I know Loretta does, but when we had the couple times Jan come, there was a lot of good input that came, and maybe to make it just a procedural thing that they have their meetings every 2 months, that if it's, January, then March, that after, when our commission meeting is in January, they come and make a kind of a presentation. The Knicks, the Nick for the sports park, Scott for the skate park, things like that, because I think it really helps, number one, build a relationship, number two, kind of make them a little bit more comfortable, and it's also a nice form of recognition, which I think they all deserve. So I would like to throw that on the table for consideration.
We planned this. I know the commission gave this direction previously. We We didn't do any presentations during the summer because it's just our crazy busy time.
Okay.
But that first presentation begins in September, and I believe it's Monique from the sports park. And then on a rolling basis, pretty
Yeah.
much each commission meeting, probably through next May,
Right.
you can expect some kind of presentation.
Yeah. But I think the senior advisory board, I agree with you.
We'll look at that also.
The summer is like nutso time for those people and their facilities, but senior advisory board, and, I know the addition of Jan to that group has just been dynamite, and she's a dynamo of ideas and knowledge and involvement. So, again, it helps for them to also kind of promote what they're doing and get some recognition. So, again, appreciate that. Thank you. And I have no further comments. No. In that case,
Can I make a comment?
please.
Just a suggestion. There is a new artist. His name is John Lindahl. He is a student that went through Portola Hills Elementary School, tracked to Rancho Santa Margarita, and then went to Mission Viejo. He signed a deal with Epic Records. He was on the X Factor. He has since left Epic Records because he was being kind of told, you need to do this, you need to be this, and so on. And he's been working with Justin Timberlake and others. He has put out his first album. It's called Control. And he is now kind of touring and doing a bunch of things. Rumor has it in that industry that he will someday be as big as Justin Timberlake. Locally in our community, he has a high following with parents my age, because he's the same age as my oldest son. And then also with the girls, the teenage kind of crowd. So just something, I don't think he would cost you a fortune. He would be a totally different style of music, and he does have some history. So since you're talking about it, I thought I'd plug a commercial.
What kind of music does he do? What?
He's got more jazz kind of roots, but it's just YouTube him.
Okay.
And he comes up. His name is John Lindahl, John, and then it's Lindhl.
Nind.
Lind, Lind, Ahl.
AHL. Okay, I didn't hear that. That's kind of what I wrote down. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Great, thank you. Awesome. Check it out.
Local boy makes good, right? All right. Yeah, we did. We moved, so moved. We don't need to vote on it. We stand adjourned. Till next month.